Charli is back, but after the infinite success of BRAT, will her new album live up to the hype? Music, fashion, film. Look, to be fair, I wasn't immediately drawn to the singles of this new album, specifically rock music. It felt more like a demo. You know, you have A.G. Cook, Finn Keen on it, and yet it still sounds like something you made 20 minutes at your mate's house whilst, you know, listening to the 1975. But the actual idea of an indie rock album from Charli actually sounds pretty fucking cool. Great songwriter, but no accounting for taste in men. So yeah, after rock music, I kind of just stopped listening to the singles because I feel like it was meant to be an album you're supposed to listen to as a whole. Do you know what I mean? And I got the impression with how short the songs are that, yeah, it doesn't really make sense on their own. And now that I've listened to it, I feel like I'm kind of right. Things by themselves feel a little unfinished. Lyrically, it's very Charli, straight to the point, honest, almost too honest that it's a little bit weird, but at the same time, kind of relatable. I've touched on the lyrics for rock music, kind of silly, you know, I'm banging my head, my neck really hurts now because rock music, right? But then suddenly you have these really emotional lyrics like on the song Camera. You know, this imposter syndrome almost kicking in even though you've had one of the biggest albums from the last decade or so. But also wanting to change career paths and kind of not believing in yourself and is it gonna work? It's a big risk, but as she says, I'm always craving an experience that feels dangerous. And maybe this is it, maybe this is what I need, because it's the only way to feel like I'm not actually me. I mean, I don't particularly like when singers do acting. I mean, you're a great songwriter, so why not try writing something? You're at the top of the pop world. Do you need to prove something to someone? After the opening track, we get SS26, which feels like a massive step up from rock music. It follows a similar structure. It's very minimal in terms of percussion and tempo. It has this noughties electro indie vibe to it. All the elements sound really well produced. I mean, it should do. It's A.G. Cook and Finn Keen, right? Charli's voice here as well sounds really nice. It's not overly processed, which kind of sounds cool, I think. I do like the auto-tune normally, but here I think it sounds really good as it is. What this song excels with is the guitars, especially overshadowing rock song, which is kind of ironic. But when they come in around the chorus, they sound really country and a bit like yassified. It's almost overproduced, but I think that's what makes it work in the context of the album. Lyrically, again, I really like them here. I'm not 100% sure what they're referring to, but it sounds like lack of accountability. It could be anyone, but I think it's celebrities in particular. I mean, you say something people don't like, oops, I got hacked. Remember the Rita Ora thing? The rock elements all over the album are quite interesting. It's not taking influence from one genre, but it's like a mixture. The track Yeah, for example, sounding a bit like Song 2 by Blur, especially with those guitar riffs at the beginning. Or take the next track, Card Declines. A.G. Cook intentionally slowed down these fast guitar riffs that they had originally to make it sound something a bit more grungy, post-grunge. But what I really like about this song is the tone change around 2 minutes. It turns into something quite experimental. But then it just kind of stops and turns into something more like pop rock, which was bizarre. Lyrically, it went from something quite interesting to something just a bit boring. It went from like, you're able to buy everything except anything that can make you change as a person, right? Buying a personality, card declined, etc. But then into something just like, oh, I miss you and I love you. Yeah. Shame. It is nice to see that Club Charli pop in and out now and then though, especially with songs like 2007, which is okay, and whilst it's quite rocky, it does have that club vibe to it, especially with those repetitive lyrics. Overall, I like the textures, the snare's quite nice. Other than that though, it's not really one of the most standout tracks on the album, unless you're in the club, of course. Similarly with the track Yeah, I said earlier it channels and maybe samples Song 2 by Blur, or if you want, it's a similar melody to Our City's Deer in the Headlights for some reason. Again, it's okay, I'm not loving it, but I don't hate it either. Then we come to I'm Afraid, which is a really interesting track. The dissonant horn sounding in the background with her sort of almost whispering vocals. Lyrically, again, it's quite vulnerable and honest. I'm assuming it's like her father not being around, or maybe being the best influence, and that kind of maybe shaped her decisions and choices growing up, you know, and she doesn't blame him for it, it's just the way it is. Again, relatable. And again with the lyrics just making excuses for certain types of behaviour. Last stretch of the album now, and we get another single, Wink Wink. I haven't really listened to it until now, and the production is top notch on this track. It has a nice bass rhythm, the guitar is sounding really noughties, Two Door Cinema Club or Mike Snow. Lyrics are quite funny as well. Vampire Weekend mentioned, kind of fucking crazy if he said that to her, to be honest. Rude. Talking about narcissists though, we come to Persona, which could be about anyone in her friend circle, to be honest, and probably even herself. Lyrically, I like it. Musically, I find it kind of bland and repetitive. Luckily, things pick up with Magic Metal Montana, a very wholesome song about A.G. Cook being her best friend. Very sweet and mushy, Charlie. I love that she has to state that she would cry if he died, as if we all thought she would be heartless and be like, meh, who cares? Musically, it's very catchy and fast-paced. I really love this distorted guitar section that comes in at around 1:30. And talking about distortion, we come to the last track. No One Lasts Forever, featuring David Cronenberg. Yeah, I really like this distorted lead and Charlie's vocals in this track, especially that looping forever lyric just before Cronenberg's vocals come in. It's kind of a profound discussion of art and living forever, and kind of wrong, I think he gets it. I mean, in a million years, no one's gonna fucking remember any of us, so who gives a shit? And then we get stuck on Cronenberg's loop. Nothing lasts forever, they are dead. I think if you feel like you have to do more with your life, even though you've been so successful, nothing you ever do is ever going to fill that void, unfortunately. Overall, I actually came away liking this way more than I expected, especially from the single rock music, which I had my doubts about. I don't think every experiment on this album works. Some of the songs feel underdeveloped. A few ideas get cut off as they get interesting. That's another issue, is so many of these songs are really short for I don't know why. Yeah, it could have been BRAT too, but what I really like is that it went in another direction. It's more guitar driven, it's more vulnerable. I don't think it's going to have that viral moment like BRAT did, if that's intentional or not. It's going to be a bit of a mashup between people who love it and people who hate it. If you love Charlie, you're probably going to love it. But it also depends on how much patience you have for albums that have a bit more experimentation, so to speak. The lyrics are some of Charlie's strongest lyrics, I think. They're blunt, self-aware, funny, and oftentimes a little confronting and uncomfortable. Production-wise, there's some brilliant moments scattered all over this, but you kind of expect that with A.G. Cook and Finn Keen. It doesn't have the same consistency as some of her previous albums, I think, but it's a little messy, and I like that. I'd rather that than something really boring and safe. So all in all, I think I would give this album a 7 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching my video. Let me know what you thought down below. Do you disagree, agree? Let me know what you think. Feel free to check out another review if you have time. If not, that's okay too. But yeah, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you like, and hopefully catch you on the next one.